what the hell? Why would we do that now? This all started because a subscriber of mine asked me a question about how often I use a phone because she taught a workshop on how to reduce your dependency on the phone. And I'm like, what the hell? Why would we do that now? Well, let me explain to you my point of view, and maybe you guys will decide whether this is something worth hanging in there for. I have a few notes that I've got to refer to because I haven't had enough of this stuff to really think too clearly. But here we go. The thoughts run like this. Let's imagine a 70-year-old in full retirement, living alone, and she's doing her own thing, her way, and finding her way. She's simply living her life. Now, 50 years ago, she would have woken up at 3 a.m. What were her choices? Stare at the ceiling. Network TV would have been off at noon, at midnight. There would have been nothing there. Maybe grab a book. We have a woman who now can grab her phone at 3 a.m. in the morning and find something of interest to herself without having to get up and turn on a TV, without having to get up and mess around and maybe possibly fall. The phone becomes a life companion. And I find no fault in that whatsoever. And I would like to encourage all of us to reframe how we think about dependency on a phone, because this is where life is right now. Measuring who we are at this time, at this stage of life, with status quo of what used to be is not helpful. I think it's a fallacy. We're not the same kinds of people our parents were at this age. So why would we use the same measuring sticks to measure whether we're living a good, quality, healthful, successful life in retirement? It defies logic to me. My mother did not have the added value of a cell phone by her bed. Okay, she had a little pink princess phone by her bed in case the kids called in the middle of the night. We're living completely different lives. To measure our lives against what came before is a recipe for failure. It doesn't work. We need to move beyond the old status quo measurement and recognize, hey, baby, I'm here. I'm still kicking. I'm still eager. I'm still curious. I got some things I want to talk about. Why don't you come join me? Be part of the family. How about we teach people more on how to use technology at this stage? How about let's go to the library and learn how to really learn how to use ChatGPT or Claude or Grok, whatever your AI of choice is, because they're here and they can help us do things that our parents didn't have the advantage of. These are gifts. These are advantages. These are our opportunities to expand our own sense of self beyond any measure stick that has come before. So why on earth would we give in to measuring who we are right now with the status quo of what our parents did before us? It doesn't work. That's really what I came on here to say. It doesn't work. With a cell phone, you can learn more. You could take a travel journey. You can do a whole lot of things. Now, me, I tend to play some games on my phone in my downtime. They're not actual games. I do jigsaw puzzles because my brain likes that activity. And there are times when I say, I'm tired of holding this phone, and I throw it across the bed. But that's okay. We get to have the choices. What I'm really trying to say is, could we just fucking lighten up a little bit on what we think should be happening and recognize that just because it is different now doesn't mean it is wrong. Just because the way you choose to manage your life in this day and age does not mean it is wrong in comparison to what happened the generations before us. Why would we do that to ourselves? Look at the advantages that we have that our parents did not have. To compare how much time we use on a phone to how much a 20 or 30-year-old uses on the phone is another fallacy. That does not work, because our opportunities are right there. Our companionship. For instance, I just published an article today about solitude and living a solitude life and the difference between that and living a lonely life. Now, can you imagine a person who feels lonely saying, "Oh, I'm not supposed to get my phone, I'll get dependent on it," because they hear that message from somebody, yet they're lonely, yet that phone can be a bridge to some information that takes them away from the pain of loneliness for a little bit? Why the hell would we do that to people, is what I'm asking. Why not say, "Hey, upgrade your phone. This is more that you can do with it. Go take a class on how to do more with your phone instead of less with your phone." Embrace the technology, allow it to enhance your retirement years as opposed to running from it. There's just no sense to it. Now, look, if we're honest, and another fellow Substacker reminded me today, there are people who do live lonely lives. And I really wish I could reach through the screen and touch their hearts somehow. Because, and that's the whole reason I started this actually, the Substack, was to say, ladies, we have a choice here that other generations never had. And I'm going to come back to my core message is stop measuring your life today by the status quo measurement sticks of yesterday. Yesterday's measuring sticks do not apply to today. Now, I'll use myself as an example. Monday and Tuesday of this week, I had 2 very busy days. I found myself outside with a lot of social interaction. I had lots going on. I was publishing. I did a live video impromptu. Things were happening. And all of a sudden, yesterday, poosh, my energy took a nosedive. I was supposed to do a live with my buddy, Mike Searles, and I had to message him and say, "Baby, the tank is empty. I cannot do this tonight." So I spent all day on my couch bed watching my favorite movies, which is Downton Abbey and Mr. Selfridge and such. And I know. Anyway, I woke up this morning thinking, glad I took some rest. Things are back to normal. And here I am. I had no intention of talking about the phone today, other than this other note. Someone responded to one of my notes where I said, "I'm so eager to see what else is coming in life." I truly am. I keep discovering more and more about me that I didn't know existed 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And my God, that just lights up a fire in your belly. So she responded saying, "Hey, I taught a class at the library how to relieve your dependency on phones." And she was surprised that some 70-year-olds show up. And I would like to know your response. You all can imagine my response. But here's the thing. Why would a 70-year-old go to the library to learn how to get off the dependency of being on their phone? Who gave them the message that is wrong? That's what I'm kind of ticked off about. Why would we tell a 70-year-old living alone that you're on your phone too much? Because we're measuring their lives with a measuring stick that measured the lives of 70-year-olds 10, 20, and 30 years ago. And those rules do not apply in me. I feel like I want to stand on a rooftop and scream, "Stop it. Stop measuring everybody from 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Look at the world we're living in right now. Don't you want your phone with you? We're living in unprecedented economic disparity. Don't you want your damn phone with you if something goes wrong and you can find somebody to reach out to?" Who has a landline in their home anymore? Especially as older people. Our phone should be with us all the time, not less time. So can we stop saying to other people can we stop making other people feel bad about doing what they need to do to make themselves feel good in the moment, that they're living the life in the moment? I'm tired of marketers and younger people telling us what we're supposed to do because they have made that decision. How about we just make our own damn decisions? What do you say to that? Okay, rant is over. I'm trying to crawl back into my nice, sweet little Monica thing, but you know what? I don't think I could go back. Judging from the hearts that are happening over here, I think I may have touched a nerve. And girlfriends, let me tell you something. I haven't even cleaned up yet today. I'm still in my PJs. But I felt like I have to grab this message right now while I'm thinking about it, while I'm feeling about it. And I really need to say, stop measuring everybody else. Period. Just stop it. Stop deciding that, oh, so-and-so is 68, so she must need XYZ. How the hell do you know? You don't. I've got a friend of mine that's 68 in great shape. Oh my God, she's been doing yoga for 40 years. She has arms I could only dream about, legs that I know men would drool out. And she has one of the sharpest, brightest minds I've ever encountered. And a creative woman that I'm pleased to call my friend. And guess what? I've never met her in person. I only know her online through my breakthrough group. And she's become a friend. Is somebody going to measure me for being non-socializing because I didn't step out of my apartment into a physical cafe to have coffee with my friend? Probably. Do I care? No. I care about my friend, and she cares about me. And that's the beauty of the technology. We use it to meet us in the moment where we are. Don't bring the past and say, oh, it's got to look like this because that's how our parents looked like it. That doesn't work. That doesn't apply. Seeing no more questions. Thank you, Susan Cam. I see you. Thank you. I love you all tenderly. You have no idea how grateful I am. And by the way, the Substack hit 7,000 subscribers this morning. So I guess there's a lot of people that kind of think like the rest of us. And that feels pretty good too. With that little happy note, I'm going to say adios, goodbye, later, gator. Remember, we don't retire. We what? We rewire how we think about retirement at this stage in life. Bye, y'all.